Hello, this is Jimmy Mitchell, and we are back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast, going over all the posts on the Libertarian Uncensored subreddit. Let's get right into it. First, we have r/Libertarian Censored votes, the 2023 Kentucky gubernatorial election, and I said, so far this century, it has proved an accurate report for the proposed election occurring next year. Last time a party won the gubernatorial election but did not go on to win the presidency next year was 1999. And I said, of the two major candidates, I would probably go for Cameron since he tried to go against Bashir's lockdowns as state AG, but I'm going to do what I'm probably going to do for D versus R since we're run out, writing Garfield the cat. So let's see. And I said, so currently we have 6 votes for Andy Bashir of Jacqueline Coleman of the Democratic Party, 2 votes for Daniel Cameron and Lieutenant Governor Robbie Mills of the Republican Party. That's what the second person's name is for, the lieutenant governor position, and 5 for write-in/other. And then I added, also I think it's funny that the Dems are going to be voting for the white guy over the black guy because the black guy has the wrong letter next to his name. So much for listen to black voices. Then we have, did Comrade and Ruin both get banned or delete their accounts? I can't see their posts anymore since I encourage this engagement from Whittling Dan, and that is a post about how they got blocked by 2 people. I think they're both still around, though. You know, I personally don't think you should block people on social media. I think that kind of goes against free speech, but I guess, it is part of freedom of association, I would say. So, I don't want to enforce my standards on other people and what content they do and do not want to see, I would say. Then we have CNN stenographer Fareed Zakaria schooled by Dr. Mustafa Barghouti, genuinely shocked that they allowed it to be broadcast, and that's from Chai 20, and that's a post from the Endless War subreddit. And I'm not going to go into it too much, but I'm glad that someone is fighting against this endless war. It was versus Ukraine, now it's Israel. Get involved in all the wars. Like Yemen and then the Nagorno-Karabakh and between Armenia and Azerbaijan and the Central African Republics. It's a war for a decade and no one cares because, only certain wars, they want to get are easier to get involved than others because, it's all a grift, I would say. Then we have Video essay, you were lied to about living in a democracy from cross-post from Libertarian Socialism subreddit by Chai 20, and I said I would agree the U.S. is much more an oligarchy than a democracy. Is much more an oligarchy than a democracy. Then we have authoritarian corporate oligarch government of Walmart and Costco agreed to aggressive price cuts on food after more libertarian civic public government spending on Canada turns up the heat from messenger.com. That's from Chai 20 again. And I said, I personally would think, we do need standing as government authoritarianism, but I personally don't think, we should be justifying corporate authoritarianism either, but I personally don't think we should be justifying using the state to go after the corporations, I would say. That's not my thing. I think the people need to go after corporations and not that of the state, I would say. Then we have good libertarian governing from Nathan RH, and that's a pretty few paragraphs. So I said, I would say, libertarians let people govern themselves as long as they don't violate NAP. So that's my thoughts on what good libertarian governing is, I would say. Then we have the allure of the bad boy. Why conservative Christians are horny for fascism. The uncomfortable lines between Christianity and fascism sacrifices the teachings of Jesus at the altar of political expediency. It's a high road that leads nowhere good. From Pathos.com, and that's number 1 by Chai 20. And I would agree that, we shouldn't be justifying, but we should be justifying turning the church into the state into the church, and that's seemingly what a lot of evangelicals want to do, I would say. The state, for a lot of people, has become the church, I would say, with how divisive modern politics are and how invested people are in them. But I would say the problem is that, we need to stop worshiping the state and just worship let everyone worship what they want to, as long as they're not forcing it on anyone else, I would say. Then we have, fascist capitalist guest on show hosted by a TPUSA official. We're going to deport a lot of people, 10 million people and growing. Anchor babies, their parents, their grandparents. We're going to put kids in cages. It's going to be glorious. We're going to detain a lot of people in the DC Gulag and Gitmo from eating Mayor's Outward for Child Middle 20. And I think that's just kind of agenda, but this is just one knucklehead and they just want to amplify him as much as possible. Then we have California Governor, liberal conservative, neoliberal capitalist Gavin Newsom vetoes bill that would have decriminalized psychedelic mushrooms from abcnews.go.com by China 20. And I would agree that it's no good. We should let people do whatever drugs they want as long as they're not hurting anyone else. If they wanted to go out on the street and do drugs all day and drug themselves to death, I think they should be able to. I personally think that should be kind of destigmatized, but if they want to do that, that's on them, I would say. Then we have poll r/Libertarian Uncensored votes the 2024 Democratic Party U.S. primary, and I posted that. I said RFK Jr. exited the field today to run as an independent. Teresa Bukovic entered the field since the last poll, and I right now it's 7 votes for abstain, 5 votes for Joe Biden, 1 vote for Marianne Williamson, 1 vote for Teresa Bukovic, and 2 votes for Joe Exotic. And I said sticking with Williamson. Then we have the 2024 Libertarian Party U.S. primary, and I said Joshua Rodriguez interview in 2020 was not listed on Wikipedia until after the last poll. So currently we have 6 votes for abstain, 0 votes for Michael Rectenwald, Joshua Smith, Jacob Hornberger, 1 for Mike Termet, and 4 for Chase Oliver. And I said switching back to Termet from Rectenwald since Termet follows me on Twitter again. Then we have poll r/Libertarian Uncensored votes 2024 Republican Party U.S. primary. And currently we have no changes to the eligible I can find since the last poll. So 16 votes for abstain, 3 votes for Donald Trump, 1 vote for Ron DeSantis, 4 each for Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy, and 2 votes for Mike Pence. And I said sticking with Ramaswamy. I personally probably go Libertarian over him, but he's probably the most Libertarian candidate in the field right now for the GOP, I would say. Then we have stormtroopers of the capitalist British government's SAS troops executed civilian Afghan adult and child males of fighting age. Inquiry here is from TheGuardian.com by China 20, and that is a cross post from that's not a cross post. I said I don't think we should be justifying having executing civilians and kids. So I think that's something I think we should all agree on, I would say. Then we have Israel is quote-unquote our ally, like Ukraine is quote-unquote our ally. It's not a useful relationship. It's an entangling alliance that siphons billions of dollars annually from Americans for no benefit at all. Not a single additional taxpayer penny for Israel or Ukraine, from LP National on Twitter, and I posted that and I said, agreed, most people want their tax dollars to go to local matters, not faraway countries that they will never go to. In my ideal system, people would choose what to spend their taxes on, but if they want to send them to foreign countries, I don't know why they want to send it to those countries directly rather than use the U.S. government as a middleman. Then we have Republican hawks are very into this. Adding Israel security assistance to Ukrainian-focused supplemental funding package could help ease passage of the whole bill. GOP Ukraine skeptics have making pro-Israel arguments with the same talking points that are used for Ukraine money, from Andrea Desiderio on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, even the so-called America First Republicans are as up Israel's ass as the rest of them. Really makes you think. Then I posted, feels like a lot of politics today. Look at the call of the out group. Look at underneath the three fingers of the in group from Defiant L's, and that's a Defiant L's tweet from yesterday. That was a Brooklyn Dad Defiant tweet on February 16th, 2021. The GOP is censoring people like Senator Pat Toomey and Rep. Adam Kinzinger because they voted their consciences to impeach Trump. The GOP is fully coked now. And then the next year, on January 22nd, he tweeted, great news, the Arizona Democratic Party has voted to censure Senator Kristen Sinema for opposition to filibuster reform. So it just goes to show you that, they'll censor you if they disagree with you enough. and that's both parties. Everyone thinks they're a free thinker, but then the narrative comes knocking at the door, and suddenly they give up everything for that, I would say. And that's something that I think a lot of people need to remember, that, groupthink is prevalent on all sides of the political spectrum, not just your own. Not just the other one, I would say. Your own as well, I would say, yeah. So then we have, bored with their Hunter Biden revenge porn sharing, right-wingers are now posting alleged nude selfies of Biden's brother. Republicans super excited, all Bidens are packing heat. And that's a crossword from the Majority Report subreddit by a tweet from Chuck Callisto. And yeah, I personally don't think you should blackmail people, but ultimately, if you want to, I think you should. You just want to justify. You should be able to, I guess. But some people might consider it a NAP violation, I would say. Then we have help you/Donkey is censoring me from Conrad Pronoun. He removed my post and accused me of hate speech because I called him a coke fascist. And I said, I think the user is kind of a troll, but free speech and being uncensored should not have an exemption for those. Then we have Free Palestine, and the Israeli government commits atrocities with zero accountability and enlists taxpayer money from multiple countries from International Silver One. And I definitely would agree that, we should be focusing on America first and not giving our money to countries. If people want to give their money to Israel, I think that's fine. I personally don't consider it like the Israel government, but if people should be able to spend their money on whatever they want to, but I personally wouldn't spend my money to Israel, I would say. If they want to give their money to Israel, that's fine, but I don't think they should be forced to, and that's what taxation does. It forces your money to go to places that you don't want it to. Then we have, liberalism from ChiTown20, and that's a tweet from Mark Hamill. It's crossed in the Wall Street subreddit. Mark Hamill honoring all those who were here first. Hashtag Indigenous Peoples Day. And then he right before that, he tweeted America censors Israel. Hashtag always. That's kind of goes against the people who were here first, because the Palestinians were kind of there first. Israel, they were kind of there from biblical times too, you could argue. But also that does go kind of against. It does kind of show you how people are hypocrites when it comes to whatever the narrative is, I would say. The only serious narrative a lot of people have when it comes to politics are double, pretty much, I would say, Then we have, well, yes, I can imagine it from Conrad Proudhon, and that's it's a meme from The Simpsons. Can you imagine the world without an economy? Lionel Hutz says, and then he thinks about it, and it's all, the kumbaya, everyone holding hands, and it says posted on r/legal liberal to out. And I would say, I agree with that. The people think, that's kind of like what the id-pol left think, that economics are essentially fascism. Lid-pol left thinks kind of everything's fascism these days. And, that's kind of like, what, everyone says. Like, as the top comment says, Byron Crunty says, someone overstood, but quite good nonetheless. Leftist is someone who hates markets, or racist is someone who hates leftists. Then we have, when police wreck your property and leave you with the bill, from John Stoss on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, it just goes to show you that the state can justify anything, and oftentimes there's nothing you can do about it. And next we have, does anyone else feel that someone who's willing to spend millions of dollars, insane amounts of time, and huge disruptions to their personal life just being charged, probably shouldn't be allowed to be charged, from Plasman 30, and they said, I have yet to meet a politician that doesn't have the superiority complex of some kind. Why is it so important that you be the one in charge? Tell me what you're not going to do to me, not what you are going to do. And I said, agreed, it's my biggest problem for elections. Those who have the most resources to win them often do. Then we have My government has spread misery and destruction all over the world, but since my fellow citizens and I haven't been able to overthrow it, we should probably all be bombed and bulldozed. From Tom Woods on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, agreed, it's why we need to separate the average citizen from the government of whatever country they live in. She went and had a great tweet about this as well, and her tweet was, as American, I frankly couldn't imagine having a wire shut off every time my country did a war crime. That's a good one as well on that issue, I would say. Then we have when someone asks why I hate the police but not the fire department, every now and then the ANCAPs get it right. And that's from Patom14 and crosswords from the anarcho-capitalism subreddit. And to me, there might be a chance of saving someone's life. Let's run in there and risk our lives from that's fireman on the upper panel. And then the lower panel, the cop says there might be a chance of me getting hurt by that guy. Better kill me and just be safe. And I said, I have a friend who is a volunteer firefighter, but it's important to remember that the fire department is a tool of the state, just like the police department is. You know, you shouldn't be overly reliant on the state, I would say, and that comes to the fire department as well. Then we have, it's incredibly interesting to see some of the woke leftist crowd that thinks violence, words of violence, suddenly very unwilling to condemn actual violence. From Brad Palumbo on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, they have always justified violence when it's against the outgroup. Then we have, LGBT activists praise insane active censorship in Switzerland from base politics. And I posted that, and I said, what people need to realize is that if stuff like this can be used against speech they don't like, then it can be used against speech they support. And if they, we shouldn't be just, even if they democratically voted to divorce, it doesn't justify it. If Uganda democratically votes to arrest all people they think are homosexual, that doesn't justify it either, I would say. And that's why we need to support free speech, even if people are democratically opposed to it, I would say. Then we have Barack Obama dropped over 26,000 bombs. Roughly 90% of the people he killed were civilians. Obama murdered even more innocent people than Hamas has, and it's not even close. From Spike Cohen on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, Obama is par for the course, sadly. Most American duopoly politicians are interchangeable. Also, like one of the top replies is Obama emoji, Obama. And even people like AOC and Fetterman are coming out with statements supporting Israel. It really shows you how interchangeable they all are. So, I think we might wrap it up there. I'll see you guys next episode. Bye.